Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to Docentes DigitalesTV, the most complete spoken English course on YouTube. Here, you'll learn English in the easiest way possible, just by listening and responding. No grammar books, no memorization, and no stress. This is where real stories teach you real English. My name is Chris, and today, I want to tell you about the most terrifying moment of my career as a musician. It was the night before one of the biggest performances of my life. I had been preparing for months. I had rehearsed every song until I could sing them in my sleep. The band was tight, the lighting cues were locked, and the venue was massive. It was a sold-out show. Thousands of people would be there, waiting to hear us perform live. I had never felt more excited and more nervous at the same time. This wasn't just any gig. It was going to be broadcast live online and could open doors to more international opportunities. Everything depended on this performance. I spent the day doing my usual pre-show rituals, hydrating, resting my voice, eating clean, and meditating. I barely spoke a word to anyone. But that afternoon, something started to feel wrong. My throat felt scratchy. I told myself it was just dryness or nerves. I drank more water, did vocal warm-ups, and avoided talking. But by the evening, my voice started cracking. I panicked. I called my vocal coach. She told me to rest completely, use steam inhalation, and avoid all stress. I followed every tip. I hoped that with a good night's sleep, I would wake up ready to sing. But when I woke up the next morning and tried to speak, nothing came out. My voice was gone. Not hoarse, not raspy, just gone. I couldn't believe it. I tried humming, whispering, even singing quietly. Nothing. The more I tried, the more I panicked. The show was just hours away. I didn't know what to do. I called my manager in tears. He asked, "Can you at least lip sync?" I said no. That wasn't who I was. I wasn't going to fake a performance, not to that crowd. He told me I had two choices: cancel the show and face the consequences, or find a solution. I felt like my career was slipping away. I rushed to an urgent care clinic. The doctor examined me and confirmed it: vocal strain. He said it was probably due to over-rehearsing and stress. I begged for a solution. He gave me an anti-inflammatory shot and told me to rest until showtime. "Maybe your voice will come back enough to perform a short set," he said. It wasn't guaranteed. Backstage, hours later, I sat in silence while everyone around me buzzed with pre-show energy. The band didn't know what was going on. Only my manager and I did. My hands were trembling. I walked to the mirror, stared at myself, and tried to sing just one line. It came out as a whisper. Not perfect, but better than before. We decided to go ahead with the performance, but make adjustments. I would cut a few songs, speak less to the crowd, and the backup singers would support me more than usual. When I stepped on stage and saw the sea of faces looking back at me, I almost broke down. But I remembered why I started singing in the first place: connection. I opened with a slower ballad, one that didn't demand too much vocal power. I sang softly, and the crowd sang along. Their energy filled in the spaces I couldn't reach. I made it through the first song, then the second. By the third song, my voice started to warm up a bit more. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. After the show, I collapsed backstage and cried, not out of pain, but out of relief. I had faced one of my biggest fears as a performer and survived it. I learned that night that even when your body gives out, your spirit doesn't have to. And the audience, they feel that. They felt my effort, and they respected it. That moment changed how I approach music. Now, I take better care of my voice. I know when to rest and when to push. I respect my limits. And most importantly, I never take a single show for granted again. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Now, focus, because we have a little quiz to reinforce what you've learned. Answer out loud and get ready. You will have 5 seconds after each question. Why was the concert so important to Chris? Because it was a sold-out show and was being streamed live online. What warning signs did Chris experience before losing his voice? He felt a scratchy throat and his voice started cracking. What did Chris do to try to recover his voice? He hydrated, did vocal warm-ups, steam inhalation, and visited a doctor. What did the doctor say caused his voice loss? Vocal strain due to over-rehearsing and stress. What solution did the manager propose? To either cancel the show or find a way to... Did Chris decide to lip-sync the performance? No, he refused to fake the performance. How did Chris modify the performance? He cut songs, minimized speaking, and got help from backup singers. How did the audience respond during the performance? They sang along and supported him emotionally. How did Chris feel after the concert? He cried with relief and felt proud for not giving up. What did Chris learn from the experience? To respect his limits, take care of his voice, and never take a show for granted. Now let's review some of the less common vocabulary from today's story. The phrase vocal strain means damage or overuse of the voice, usually from singing or speaking too much. For example, teachers often suffer from vocal strain if they speak loudly for long periods. Steam inhalation refers to breathing in steam to soothe irritated airways. For instance, people with colds sometimes use steam inhalation to relieve symptoms. To lip sync means to move your lips as if singing, while the actual voice comes from a recording. Many pop stars do this during performances that involve heavy choreography. To warm up your voice means to prepare it for use by doing exercises or light singing. Just like stretching before a workout, singers warm up their voices before performing. Collapsed means to fall down from exhaustion or stress. After intense effort, Chris collapsed backstage from relief. Ballad refers to a slow, emotional song that tells a story. Ballads usually require strong vocal control, but less power. Now you know the meaning of these key expressions. Try to use them in your conversations to remember them better. Thank you so much for staying until the end of the video. If you enjoyed this story and want to keep learning English through powerful real-life experiences, don't forget to subscribe to Docentes DigitalesTV, like the video, and share it with your friends. Keep going. You're doing great.